Hi, I'm Tom Korn, Senior Vice President of Security Products at VMware. I wanted to talk a little bit about the challenge of securing endpoints and workloads. There are really three activities that are involved in securing endpoints and workloads. There's an activity of how we harden these devices to shrink the attack surface, make them less susceptible to attacks. There's activities we do to prevent attacks that we can't simply harden away. And then there's the ability to detect and respond to attacks that we can't simply prevent. Now, these really need to be more than just individual processes. They need to be ongoing processes that are connected to each other. But we really are facing a series of fundamental challenges around these. One challenge we face is that this is a very sort of siloed environment that we're working these on. We have a whole host of tools from, say, audit and remediation tools, or vulnerability management, or things like workload visibility tools. When it comes to prevention, we have the same issue. We're dealing with things like next-gen AV, or app control, or encryption. We have the same issue around detect and respond, things like endpoint detection and response, or security analytics, or forensics. And while these really should be connected use cases, we end up buying them and implementing as separate tools with their own policy sets and consoles, we deal with the misconfiguration and misalignment of these tools. Another issue we face is that this is ultimately very threat-centric. There's a lot of advancement that's been made in understanding how threats are evolving, but very little advancement in understanding the context of what are these endpoints, what are these workloads, what are they doing, how do they compose our critical applications, and it's very difficult to secure what you don't understand. And the third element that's really hindering our ability is that this is ultimately very bolted on. We implement these things as a series of separate agents and appliances and consoles, and making it very, very difficult to really ultimately do the task of making this a singular process. Now, what we have done in order to solve for this problem is we've built a cloud-based platform called the Carbon Black Cloud. And the Carbon Black Cloud provides rich analytics to solve these problems across a whole range of platforms, from Windows to Mac to Linux servers to AWS to Azure, and a growing list of platforms and environments. And rather than construct a separate products, we think of these as connected use cases, from next-gen AV, or audit and remediation, or EDR, etc. So that we can really start thinking of these as a connected set of use cases to start bringing these together. A connected set of use cases with rich cloud-based analytics across a whole range of platforms starts to unify so that we're not dealing with a separate series of products on those, and allows us to connect the dots between these areas, and gives us far richer context for what these endpoints and workloads really are, and how they're being leveraged by the applications and data that we're ultimately protecting. But it's also giving us the ability to build this into the infrastructure by leveraging VMware's position with things like vSphere, or NSX, or Workspace ONE. By taking this and building into these, it's allowing us to bring native controls so that you're not adding agents everywhere. It is allowing us to bring native context so that we're not just looking at threat context, we're looking at context of the application, of the infrastructure, of the user endpoint, of the user, and being able to factor that into what we're trying to understand. And it's giving us far more native collaboration because gives us an opportunity to build capabilities, visibility and hardening capabilities into the consoles for vSphere, NSX, and Workspace ONE. So the infrastructure team, the network team, and the desktop services teams can operate on the same source of truth, the same semantics, the same policies as the InfoSec team. And that's key to making these teams a collaborative group with the security team. A singular cloud-based platform delivering a range of capabilities and making these connected use cases that are not siloed, but unified. Not threat-centric, but context-centric. And not bolted on, but built in. That's the concept behind the Carbon Black Cloud and what VMware is doing to really transform how you're securing endpoints and workloads. I'm Tom Korn. Thank you so much.